A lot of you guys have been asking how I pick up side work. So what I'm going to do is I'll give you a little slideshow here of a lot of the jobs I've done over the last 3 years. You can get an idea of the kind of jobs you might want to tackle and stuff that I have done. If you haven't seen my Instagram, if you don't have Instagram, it's all there. But I'll do a little voiceover and explain to you each job, and then stay tuned after the pictures because then that's when I get into. Um, I'll tell you how I get side work. This is the first welding fabrication project I ever did for myself, and I built a headache rack for my old Chevy 1500 I used to drive around. I had I had bought this stick welder. Me and my dad bought that together years and years ago, and I stick welded that whole thing, 2-inch square tubing by 1/8 inch, I believe. I bought the wire mesh. I learned quick how to cut wire mesh with a cutoff wheel when I did that. The grinder flew out of my hand. I was still learning how to use a grinder then. But I did that. That was the first thing I ever fabricated. And then here's another picture of one I actually built for somebody. So you know, I'd go around town. I'd go to friends' houses, parties. I'd go over, drive my truck around, whatever, and people were like, "Hey, that's cool, man. Where'd you get that?" And I said, "Oh, I built it." Um, they're like, "Oh, that's cool. You think you can build me one?" Yeah, I think I ended up building one or two for people. That other one was for me, and then yeah, that was it. I haven't really built one since. But you know, there's your work. There's advertisement right there on your pickup truck. Um, you're going around, you're seeing friends, you start meeting new people, you see people with equipment. Be like, hey, you know, if you could build something like that to put on a truck, your car. You can build a bumper for your truck. I never built a bumper before because I never really liked those custom metal bumpers. I kind of like a factory bumper. But if you're into that kind of stuff, there's good money to be made in building bumpers. So you can build yourself a bumper, and then you're like a rolling billboard if you go places. That's another great way to pick up some side work. I've done that. I did that with the rack. I'm gonna start putting in some pictures here of just some stuff I started doing, so you can kind of get an idea of the kind of work you can expect, the kind of work that is making good money. That for me, at least, it made good money if you price it right. So let me. I guess it'll be like a PowerPoint of the jobs I've done. I got a lot of pictures on my phone. Like I said, I haven't filmed. I never used to film a lot of these, so um, yeah, just take a look if you like them. I'll make them quick, probably 10 or 12 photos of stuff I've done. You can all see it on my Instagram too, but for those of you who don't have Instagram, here you go. All right, guys, here's the first set, bucket repair. As you see here, this bucket was pretty worn out. Pretty much just filled the gaps and slapped a lot of 7018 over it. And this is the other side. Oh, that's the same side, sorry. This is the other side. Next, we have another bucket. This was off a skid steer. Pretty worn out. Cut out some metal. There you go. I replaced it with a bunch of new metal on the bottom, usually where they drag. There's the other corner. Here's another bucket. This is off a tractor. Same exact thing as the last one. Pretty much wore out. I just replaced it with a bunch of metal. And here's the other side of that. And then the last one here is a butter bar I welded on a excavator bucket. All right, here is the first job I ever got off Instagram, which I will talk about after this slideshow is done. These are snow pushers. As you can see, that one was really bent. So what I ended up doing is I just cut the whole side off, and you see what I did there. I just whole new piece of metal, new brace, and it's really straight now. For those of you who live south of like Delaware and Virginia, you don't see these. And here's the other one. I had to do two of them. This one wasn't nearly as bad, so the cutting wasn't as much. But this was the first job I ever got off of my Instagram page, about half an hour, 40 minutes away from me. So here's another good example of stuff that I got into. But let's get on to the next one. Here we have a little crack repair on a landing gear bracket for my friend Dalton. He owns the tractor trailer. Ground it out, cracked, and welded it up. We'll just kind of go with some of the stuff I have done for Dalton recently. Here, the next one is a light post I actually fabbed up for, about a 4-inch Schedule 40 pipe, I think. Ended up welding it right onto one of his fence posts. That's what he wanted. He put a floodlight on top. So here's a good shot of my truck way back in the day when I put the bed on it. And then here's the finished product. Him and his dad ended up putting a light on it. They had power out there already, so that was a pretty cool project I did for him. Here's a little shot of me whipping some 60-10 on it. Here is a job I did for a family friend. He had a car trailer. He had some smaller tractors he wanted to move around, and the wheels wouldn't fit on the sides. It was too narrow. So what I ended up doing is running a brace in the middle, and I covered the whole thing with, I believe, 3/16 diamond plate, as you'll see here. The whole thing, I cut the back out for tie downs. I also, on the top left, I added brackets to hold the ramps, and this was after I painted it. He said just paint it black. So this was a really good job. It was really hot that day. I remember doing that, but on to the next one. Here's a job for the same family member. That was the wrong tailgate, so I ended up fabbing up that whole top 4 inches, cutting out those brackets, and making it dump from the top. He was very happy with that. Next here we have dump truck doors that were heavily rusted, so I ground out all that rust. Yeah, they were really bad. So I wire wheeled it, I ground it out, I painted all that, and then I ended up just putting brand new metal right over it on the inside as well. Customer was very happy. He's one of my good customers. So it looks way better. Next, we have a grab hook on a bucket for chains. I like to weld a piece of 1/4 inch on the bottom to kind of disperse the weight distribution, I guess, when you're yanking on it with a chain, but that was a quick little call out. Had that done in an hour or two. And the last one here, we're going to wrap up these pictures, is a table I built. This was a difficult build. This was when I first started getting into welding, but I think it came out really good. Bent the metal with a torch. I think that was all 3/4 inch rod, solid bar, and then sent it to my buddy to get powder coated, and it turned out really nice. I believe this was a wedding gift for somebody. But let's get back to, now I'll tell you how I got a lot of these jobs. The first thing I did is I made an Instagram, MCF Welding, kind of where all this came from. I made this page probably 4 years ago, maybe 5, I'm not sure. What I did is I started following local landscapers I saw around town. So when I get home, I'd see a landscape company, I'd look them up on Instagram. If they had an Instagram, I'd follow them. And then I look at their followers, look up local places. Most landscaping companies, excavating companies need welding. So those are good companies to target to get side work. Next, well, not really next, but you're going to need the basics. I'm assuming if you want side work, you have the basics. You're going to need a welding machine. Honestly, I have a shop full of stuff. Like, I have thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment here that I've bought, that I got for cheap, people gave me. You need to make sure you have the proper equipment for pretty much the kind of work you want to do. Now, here's a project I'm working on for myself. It's a coffee table. You guys just saw the last video with the squares. I'm actually in the middle of making a video for this, but this one's for me. I feel like building metal furniture is pretty lucrative. People pay good money for metal furniture. I'm gonna get a nice piece of oak wood, stain it, sand it, stain it, put it in the middle, set it in my living room. And if I was to start making this kind of furniture, I'd try to make it a little more production. But that's a really good way to advertise welding in general. You can put an ad on Facebook Marketplace for that. People probably would gobble that up. People love metal furniture, outdoor furniture. You can make something really simple. So there's another good way to do that. Like I said, the biggest thing was the Instagram. That's definitely where I got most of my jobs. I know a lot of you have asked how I got side work, and that's how I did it. I saw local landscapers around, local excavating companies. I've been very fortunate to have friends that have equipment and own companies like that. So I kind of started working on their stuff pretty much for nothing. We'd work on it together, and that's where I kind of got some of the experience that fixing some of this stuff. And I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm the most experienced welder out there, but I know my limits of what I can and can't do. So that's another big thing when you're doing side work is, you got a MIG machine and you got a grinder and a torch, and you went to welding school or you did a couple side jobs, and some guy brings over a John Deere 120 giant excavator with a cracked boom. I wouldn't suggest taking that kind of job on, because you've never done something like that before. I've never done something like that before, and I would probably not do a job like that because I've never done it and I'm not comfortable doing something like that. So the big thing with side work is staying within your limits. Do what you can. I mean, you guys see my garage. I work out of a 2-car garage, and it works for me. I can build my own stuff. I can do my own stuff. I can make a little money on the side. But yeah, another thing, I'll show you outside real quick. Next thing is make yourself a lawn sign. I haven't made this, or I made this, and I haven't put it out yet. But lawn sign is a perfect way. Stick it out in front of your lawn. When I first started, I started working for a couple of my friends with a landscape company. You guys have all seen my friend Dalton. He owns a tractor, 1984 or 85 Peterbilt 359 with old trailers, and the truck is old. So he's always got, a little something for me to do, which is nice. He's my best friend. I don't charge him anything. We do it together. He usually buys me some beer, some breakfast, and that's, to me, working on his stuff is more about gaining the experience on working on equipment like that. So then when I do get calls for that, I know what I can do, how long it'll take me, what I can charge. So it's that Instagram, the lawn sign, all that stuff, that's how you can get side work. MCF Welding, as you guys can see, this was my OG sign, MC Fab. That's where MCF came from, but I had a problem with people calling it mcfab, like McDonald's, and I hated that. I even put periods and stuff. I hated that. McFab, no way. So I just changed it to MCF and then welding. MC, my name, and then Fab. There you go. Someone asked what MCF stands for. There you go. My name, Matt. My last name, Fab. MCF. That's where it came from. And then you just slap welding on the bottom of it. There you go. You got a Instagram to start, and I have a YouTube page name, so it works. But that's how I got the side work. Really, I know a few of you were asking. Really, just word of mouth. Then it starts becoming word of mouth in town. If you can go mobile, even better. That's a good thing to do, is go mobile. Pick up a engine drive welder. It can be a smaller one, Lincoln Ranger, Miller, Bobcat, stuff like that. You can find them used. I know stuff's really crazy expensive right now, but they're out there. You can find good deals on them. And yeah, I hope this video helps. I know a lot of you have been asking about how I get side work. Honestly, my buddy Dalton has referred me to a bunch of people he knows with equipment. I've gotten work like that. I have uncles with companies. I have friends with companies. I usually give them a little bit of a break. My neighbor, he runs a business, a landscape business. In my opinion, that's the audience you are going to target, is landscapers, because they all have trailers, they all have machines, they all break, and that stuff is good to learn on. And it's I wouldn't say easy money depending on the job, but you can make decent money fixing up trailers, fixing up commercial mowers. You guys saw my video that I did on that thumb repair for my neighbor, his dethatcher. Like, you're gonna get those kind of jobs, little jobs. You're not gonna go take on the world like IC Weld, Melton Middle Anthony, On Fire Welding. He's new in the YouTube thing. He's got a really cool channel. You're not gonna start off like that. You got to start off from the bottom. Go work for a company. If you're not welding now, if you're not in the welding field, and you want to, go get a job somewhere. Go be a helper. That's what I did. I'm in the union now. I'm in a pipe fitters union, so I do a lot of other things than welding. We do industrial piping, stuff like that. So I get time off here and there, which I have right now, and I can pick up on side work, and I can make YouTube videos. So All right, guys, I hope that helps. I'm checking out. It's Sunday. Subscribe if you guys like this kind of stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I still need a name for this guy, so shoot a comment down below. My painting. He needs a name. I'll send you a free sticker if I pick your name. All right, guys? I'll catch you on the next one.